everybody, my name is Sky and this is my channel Nettlebooks, and today I'm going to start another reading vlog. I've only done one of these before, but I did have a lot of fun doing it, so I hope you like them because I'm just going to keep doing them. The book I've chosen to read for this vlog I've already started, and it is a science fiction novel by the Scottish author Ian Banks, and it is Consider Phlebas, which is the first in the Culture series. The general premise so far, I think, is that there is a war going on between the society, the culture, and also an alien race called Iridians. And the character we are following so far has been employed by the Iridians, and this character has now been swept up with another group of people, and that's kind of where I am at now. I'm still not entirely sure where the book is going, but I've really enjoyed it so far. It did take a couple of chapters for me to get into, but I was recommended this by a friend and I've heard good things about it. And I want to read more Scottish authors, so the fact that Ian Banks is an author of one of my favourite genres, I thought I would definitely pick it up and give it a go. So I will see you in my next update. So I'm now on page 229 of Consider Phlebas. This is definitely a thinker of a book. It's very thought-provoking. I think I'm about halfway through it, and I stayed up for quite a while last night just thinking about the last couple of chapters I read. So I just wanted to film an update with really what I've been thinking of it so far. The first thought I'm having in this book is the attention to detail in the book, which just sparks a lot of questions. An example of this is there is a scene where there is an ocean, and the ocean is man-made. It's created by some sort of intelligent life. And we have a character and he's in this ocean and he's swimming to an island, and all of a sudden he realises, and we as readers also realise, that this ocean has no salt in it. Because why would a man-made ocean have salt in it? And this isn't really something you would consider or think about, but yeah, it is just a small question that makes you think, what is the advantage of putting salt or not putting salt in an ocean if you created it? Well, one, buoyancy, you wouldn't float as much, but then there's also the fact of marine life. What kind of marine life would you want? This is a different, completely different world, galaxy from what we know. All these different questions just encourage me to think more deeply about all the ideas presented to me in the book. And as a result of this, I think I'm experiencing this world so much more intensely. An interesting thing I found when I've been reading science fiction is that a lot of authors, they create this fantastic world, but then science fiction authors set themselves the task of proving that this world could exist in some way, or coming up with the theories behind it. And sometimes you get a big monologue at the start of the book and it's like explains everything in such depth and it is too dry, but this is another thing Banks doesn't really do. I think it's interspersed, and I think that does make a huge difference to my enjoyment of this book. Another thing about this book is the imagination we see in this book is really just phenomenal. The thing I really like about his ideas as well is they aren't just unique for the sake of being unique. These ideas aren't just shoehorned in because they're new and different. They have a purpose and a reason for being there in the plot or the story, and it makes sense. It's not just like, oh, I came up with something new, let's force it in here. No, it's all relevant, and I like that. It makes for a much more fluent read, really. The narration in this book is really, really good. There is essentially a war going on, as I mentioned, between these two cultures. And our main man, our main guy, protagonist Horza, he is on the Iridian side of the war. And the interesting thing about this is, even though Horza, he opposes the culture, I am given a chance to not just think on his side of it, but we are still given a good chance to challenge the protagonist's ideas. There's no bad guy, no good guy. And it's quite vague. There's 1,000 shades of grey. As the book progresses, we do see more interactions with AI minds. They don't like being called AI, so they call them minds. And I'm hoping that continues, because I feel like this might be what this book is building up to. Maybe like man vs machine, like sentience and that kind of debate. Banks has done a really good job of presenting these political, cultural and social and technological theories, and he's interspersed it in his writing so far without it being really dry, and from my knowledge it's scientifically correct as well, which is really good. So yeah, Consider Phlebas has been a real pleasure to read so far, and I'm looking forward to reading more of it. So right now I'm around about page 350. I've got just over 100 to go. The only thing I can really add right now is that I'm not really gripped by the plot. The plot and the events themselves aren't really intriguing me or making me want to read more, but what is making me want to read more is the underlying events and story with these societies, the culture, some of the alien races, and also these minds and the artificial intelligence. And since my last update, there has been a lot more interaction with the AI in the book, and that is really interesting to me. From what I can tell, there's a lot of contempt for machine life forms from biological life forms in this story, and from the viewpoint we see it at, and I just kind of want to see how that is resolved. Another thing is, I'm not completely invested in the characters emotionally. There are a couple of characters who I do want to see what happens to them, like in some cases I want a happy ending, but the thing is, I don't think I'll be too upset to see these characters go. I don't feel that attached to them, but that doesn't necessarily mean they are a bad character, because they still fit their purpose, and a lot of these characters are still quite complex and interesting and unique individuals, so I do feel kind of conflicted on that point, but hopefully by the time I finish the book I will have a much more coherent thought on this to share. That's all I really have to share right now, so I will see you in my next update. So I have now finished Consider Phlebas. I have to say I'm really surprised. I know in my last update I said something along the lines of I didn't feel emotionally connected to the characters, but when it came to the conclusion of the book, I found that I actually cared a lot more than I thought I did about the fates of these characters. So that was a really nice surprise, and I'm not really sure when that happened, when I became attached to them. I also think the conclusion was really well done. It was kind of stark and a little bit abrupt maybe, but I feel like it really fitted the purpose and the message of the books. Like I wanted, we did see a lot more of interactions with AI and the minds and the results of a lot of these interactions. It was really interesting to see how some characters resolved their interactions and relationships with one of the drones in their party. If I could describe this book in 3 words, the 3 words I would probably choose are potent, disturbing, and poetic. I think one of the underlying messages of this book is the cost of war, and also maybe how wasteful it can be. It is a really thought-provoking book, and I can see why a lot of people really praise Banks's work, especially for sci-fi. It just really makes you think about these philosophical, cultural and scientific ideas as well. Banks has an absolutely phenomenal imagination, and he is so amazing at setting the scene and creating the setting as well. The settings he creates are really vast and daunting and completely awe-inspiring, and I just have so much admiration for authors who can create such great settings, because that is something I personally really like in books. On reflection, when I read this book, I did think it could have been a bit faster in terms of its pacing. Overall, when I look back, I really did love this book. While yeah, it was a bit slow for me at times, the messages it got through to me and even the characters I still think were really good, very well done. Yeah, I thought they were a bit flat at first, but on reflection, they were really complex and three-dimensional, and the drones as well were very three-dimensional, and they think differently to us. Like, they are sentient, a lot of them, but they have very strange thoughts, and I really like that. I like the difference. Also, the alien races. Banks is very good at creating alien races that are strange as well. The structure and the narrative of the plot was a bit different from what I'm used to, but I really did enjoy it. The difference is what made it good and unique as well. Banks is a very good writer, so I have actually really enjoyed this. So to wrap this up, this was a really good read for me. I loved how different this book was in terms of the messages and the setting and the imagination. It's all very well done, very wrapped up, and that's all I really have to say about it. I really enjoyed it, and if you like sci-fi, I would encourage you to pick this up. Thanks for watching my video. If you have read this book, please let me know what you think. If you've read any more of Banks' works, then please let me know. I've heard conflicting opinions on which one is the best and which isn't, so I'd be really keen to hear what you think. And otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!